everyone, welcome to Cooking Beautifully. What are you cooking today? Hey Robin, I have a question.
What's up?
Bagel, donut, you can only pick one. Which one?
Oh man, I don't think I can make that choice. They're both so great. How do you choose?
It is really hard, so I guess you came out with a solution, right?
So what we're gonna do today is we're going to tell you how to take everything bagels and donuts and mash them into one. And then after we make the donuts, Melissa's gonna show us her Asian twist on some really great fillings for how you can serve it and make it a full meal.
Wow, that sounds exciting.
Okay, so first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna mix the dough. I always use a KitchenAid mixer anytime I'm mixing any hardcore dough because the mixer motor is way stronger than me or a wooden spoon or anything like that. Don't worry if you don't have one, it's just gonna take you a lot more elbow grease and a lot more muscle to get it done. So I like to use the dough hook attachment on my KitchenAid anytime I'm making any dough. What we start with is our warm water and our yeast. Because what we want to do is start waking up our yeast from the fridge, getting it going so we can get our dough on the mix. So right now, it's taking a nap and the warm water is going to wake it up. So we're going to add a pinch of our sugar also into here. The sugar is food to the yeast and that will keep helping the yeast really get going and working for us. We like to let this sit for about 3 to 5 minutes so that the yeast gets nice and foamy and we know that it's good and we know our yeast isn't messed up or anything like that. So let it hang out for a few and then we'll come back to it. Now that it's sat for a few minutes, we can see that the yeast has gotten all foamy around the sides and you can smell that nice yeasty flavor so you know your dough is working, your yeast is good, and you're ready to go. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add all the rest of our ingredients, the rest of the sugar, the melted butter, our milk, our eggs and egg yolks, and then we're gonna add our flour. I usually like to start with about 2/3 to 3/4 because you're never sure what the dough is gonna feel like, how much flour it's gonna need, and you can always add more, but you can't take it away. So err on the side of caution and only add about 2/3 to 3/4. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add our salt last. Yeast and salt really aren't friends. They don't like to play nice together. So we like to add the yeast first and the salt last so that when they get mixed together, they won't cause a fight. So when we start it mixing, we like to start on low or else your ingredients are gonna fly everywhere and make a massive mess. So we're gonna mix it for a little bit. Now it's mixed for a few minutes, we can see that it's still super sticky. It doesn't look like a ball is formed at all. So we're gonna add about half of our remaining flour and start it mixing again. A little extra for the counter too, keeps everybody sane. And we mix it again. After the second mix, we can see that it started to come together a little, but that it's still super sticky. And when we go to touch it with our fingers come away sticky and messy with dough. We'll know that it's ready when we go to touch it and our fingers come away clean. So we're gonna go ahead and add the last of our flour and set it to mix a little bit more. Okay, so you can see that it has completely cleaned the sides of the bowl and the dough comes up as one hunk and I'm touching it and my fingers are coming back completely clean. That's how we know that our dough is ready. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it out of the mixer and put it on our counter, give it a quick little knead with our hands to bring it together, and that's how we'll know that we're good to go. Because I always feel like the mixer doesn't really get the dough together as much as you want it to. We're not gonna need like crazy 10 minutes, anything like that, break a sweat, but I wanna just kind of bring it together because it's really soft right here, but then it's kind of got some chunkies over here. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna put it on the counter, and I kind of like playing my hands in dough personally, so I think you'll think this is kind of fun too. But you're kind of just gonna keep taking sections and folding them over, you're using the heel of your hand and you're pushing. And that's what kind of helps bring your dough into one uniform ball. And that's what's gonna make you really nice donuts. Like make Dunkin' Donuts jealous kind of donuts. So as you can see, even just with a little bit of working with it, it's already coming together. It's super squishy, our hands aren't messy, it's looking real nice. So we're gonna put it in a bowl that we just threw a little butter in so it's greased so the dough doesn't stick. So you're gonna put the dough in your bowl and you're gonna grab some plastic wrap and throw it right over the top. And this bad boy is going to sit out at room temperature for, usually takes anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. You want it to double in size. So you want to use a bowl that's big enough so when it grows, it doesn't flop all over the place. And when it's doubled in size, that's how you'll know it's risen properly. If you have a really cold room, put it closer to your oven, closer to your heater. That will kind of help kickstart it and get its butt moving. And once it's doubled in size, that's when we'll be able to cut out our donuts. So now that our dough is risen, we are going to cut it into our donuts. So I like to work with it in 4 pieces at a time because I think when you work with a really big piece of dough, it just gets too difficult to handle and it's hard to roll it out evenly. So I like to just do little bits. So this is actually 1/4 of our risen dough. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use just a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick. Throw a little bit on your surface. Put your dough down and do a tiny smidge on top. Don't go crazy, it doesn't need a lot. And you're gonna use your rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a wine bottle or something that's round, or you can kind of pat it with your fingers, but I like a rolling pin. So we're gonna just kind of work it a little back and forth. You're not using crazy pressure, you're not hammer timing it. Just be nice and gentle, be nice with your dough. It's worked really hard for you. So we're gonna go to about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick. And then we're gonna cut it with our ring cutters. I like to use circles, but you can really do any shaped donut you want. No one's here to judge you. You want a larger one and a smaller one for the donut and the donut hole. And what you wanna do is you wanna press straight down and then give it a little wiggle so it detaches. And then you're gonna do your donut hole. Straight down, give it a little wiggle. And then you'll have a nice little donut and its donut hole. And you're gonna keep going on this with all the rest of the dough. And put them on a sheet pan, a plate, just even on your counter is totally fine. And you want these to rise until they are also doubled in size. And that's how you get the biggest, fluffiest, nicest donuts. So cut them all out, throw them on your board, cover them with a towel, and let them hang out for like 45 minutes. And then while you're doing that, you can be getting your oil ready to fry. So you're gonna want a nice big pot, about 3 inches of oil. We like to use peanut or canola, and you're gonna want that oil at 350 degrees. Now please be careful when you're doing this because your fingers are gonna be close to it and you really don't wanna get burned because yes, it will hurt. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our donuts and very gently we're just gonna kind of lay it down into the oil. The donuts float, so you don't have to worry about holding on to it for any period of time. You just kind of gently place it in there and it sort of bobs to the top. We're only gonna do about 2 or 3 donuts at a time, depending on the size of your pan, because you don't wanna crowd it and have the oil drop temperature or have the donuts not cook evenly. What we wanna do is we wanna cook them for about 1 to 2 minutes per side so that they get nice and golden brown and it's cooked all the way through. Now while they're frying, something to look out for to know that they're done and ready to be flipped is that you can see the golden brown color creeping up the side of the donuts. You also can see all those bubbles that we had in the beginning start to subside and go away, and that's a really good tell of when it's time to flip. So when it's time to flip, you're gonna take a nice big metal spoon or a spider or anything metal heat safe that you have and just give them a little flip. You can even use a fork here, anything works fine. And again, you're looking for the same thing, that brown color to start creeping up the sides, and you're looking for the bubbles to start to subside. It's about 5 minutes total, but it kind of depends on the size of your donuts and how hot your oil is. And then once they're done, what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna take them out and flip them onto a resting rack that either, if you don't have a resting rack, that's totally fine. You can do a pan lined with paper towels or a paper grocery bag. That's what we used to do when we were kids and my dad made us donuts. You're gonna flip them over, oil side up, onto the pan, and you're gonna dust them with our Everything Bagel seasoning.
Wow, this smells so good and look amazing. Robin, I can't wait to...
Show me what we're gonna put inside it. That's what I wanna know. Now work your magic.
Oh, my magic. So I was thinking, just bring some Asian heritage to this dish. So here I have some shredded nori. I have some shiso leaf here. And do you want to smell it?
Ooh, it's cool.
Yeah, it's also very delicious.
It's like
yeah,
minty kind of.
Oh, this tastes so good. So a lot of time when you go to a Japanese restaurant, you see this shiso leaf right next to your nigiri or your sashimi. A lot of time people just throw this away. It was such a shame.
It's super tasty.
This is so tasty, and also the color is beautiful. So I always have some shiso leaf in my fridge, and those are just some shallot. Who did the knife work?
I did.
Yeah. this was cut beautifully, And then we also have some furikake. So furikake in Japan, this is just dry, sometimes bonito flakes, sometimes nori, and it has a lot of calcium. It was invented when people didn't get enough calcium in Japan, and usually we sprinkle this on rice. But I thought, why don't we do this with cream cheese? Just give it a Japanese twist. Here I have ikura. This is a salmon roll. If you don't get this, just the bagel donut itself, will be amazing. You don't need to panic if you don't have ikura. And here we also have some smoked salmon and cream cheese. You should let it sit at room temperature. And now this is the time for us to assemble. So what we want to do is to, cut this. Wow, beautiful.
So fluffy.
Wow, wonderful. And then we want to, just spray some cream cheese. I love cream cheese.
Ooh. Me too.
Yeah. So first you have your cream cheese, and then just sprinkle some furikake. This will bring a lot of just kind of a fun twist and more flavor to it, and then just keep assembling. And you can really just
mix and match it to however you're feeling.
You can improvise whatever you have at home. It should be okay. And smoked salmon, those smoked salmon are the one that smoke in the supermarket, and we cut it into cubes. But you can also get the smoked salmon that's already in the package. Doesn't matter. Whatever you have, just improvise. And then here we have some shiso leaf. If you want, you can use a knife to chiffonade it. But also, I think...
Get your hands in it.
Right.
It's more fun.
Yeah, I think just a rustic look like this will be great. Beautiful. Done.
That looks awesome.
This everything bagel donut, it's so delicious. You have to try this recipe at home. Remember to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for choosing Cooking Beautifully, where memories are made.